Never done this before. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Tuesday, September 5th of 2023. We're doing the Dismal Demographics stream, Paintball Paladins, and the Hikikomori Army. And the card for today's show is this one, the Seven of Diamonds. I don't know what that means, but that's true. That's true. Stay tuned for your fancy pants savings throws coming up next. kind of pretty. I'm not gonna lie, the guy who did show prep this morning was particularly half-assed. Whoa, what is a giant bubble over my face? That must be from this coffee bot, don't it? No, it doesn't do automatically, but that'd be cool. Thank you for your support. Welcome to the Shadow Cabal. I think one coffee should be at least a week membership, right? And the +3 for that week to these savings throws. So if anybody needs them that way, we do savings throws versus mind control around here because you're swimming in it, and I practice it and expose you to some. And if so, in order to, oh, that's a good self roll. In order to, it's like the mind control I do on you is more effective because I give you the savings throw against it up front, which makes you participatorily involved in the controlling of your own mind. Where's the, damn it, we've lost the survival die again. So get to choose between survival, social, wisdom, or heart as the basis for your save against the mind control. If it's over 10, you take half damage. If it's under 10, you take full damage. But remember, everybody, we want what's best for you. Survival, social, wisdom, or heart. Choose. Survivalist. No, socialist. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. You're rocking it today with a net 20. A net 20 for the socialist. Lovers of wisdom, on the other hand, a natural 1. This is going to completely rock your world. You're prepared now because I've warned you. Heart, folks, the power of 8 strikes again. Strikes again for you. And indigo kids, you got 2 of those. 2 of those. Sorry to the survivalists. Here's a dream catcher of optimal grip.
The list?
Yes, any of the first level ones.
I'm gonna get a soda. Anyone want one? Hey, Graham, I'm not in the room, right?
What room?
I want to cast Magic Missile.
The
room where he's casting all these spells from.
He hasn't cast anything yet.
I am, though, if you'd listen. I'm casting Magic Missile.
Why are you casting Magic Missile? There's nothing to attack here.
I'm attacking the darkness.
Oh no, you were supposed to play this after that. Remember, we all know that there is no agency any living gent can see. Doing what is right for me is lifting up my bro so he can grow some eyes to see that doing what is right for me increases all our agency. Okay. Now the show part. What is it? What show? No, make America honest again. Choose denim. What are you looking for to click on? That one? No. You're going down the videos. It's a. I've lost my survival die, guys. What am I supposed to say?
I believe that if everyone sees what just a few people become when they wholly embrace their gifts, others will awaken.
All right, now this guy, This is what you were looking for. The paintball paladins in the army of the Hikikomori stream, also called Dismal Demographics. The reason we call it Dismal Demographics is because I was checking out the demographics. No, I was looking in my Discord membership line to see if I needed to kick somebody, and I saw Collective Dismal was on there. And I remembered that he had came on for a moment, and then I smacked him and he went away, but he didn't go away. He's still there. And then I saw he had released a thing this morning, and I went ahead and watched it. I went ahead and watched the whole thing, and like I have pointed the hive mind and others toward this fellow before because it represents an important part of the ecosphere in which the flotilla of this little corner the sea ocean of information and attitudes and people that we operate in. It represents an important demographic thereof. And so I guess this is going to be a commentary on Collective Dismal's A Tale of Two Incels. Incels. But first, we'll check in on the Hive Mind chat right after this.
Remember, there is no agency. We want what's best.
Hey, Chad. Good to see you. Good to see you. Now, when you're doing some sort of live streaming experience, try to make it so that your eyeballs are 2/3 high on this. So I'm a little low still. But that's like the way it. Anyway, let's meet this guy.
Welcome back to the Daily Dismal. And today's episode is going to be a special one because I'm going to be sharing a story today with you, the listener. And this is not just going to be any story. This is going to be a tale of sorts. A tale of two incels, to be exact. But before I begin my story...
Oh, I'll interrupt with my first objection. My first objection to anyone identifying as an incel is that it is still participating in the sexual commodification of the species. You're branding yourself by who you will or can have sex with, which is the dominant whatever. But you're participating in their game when you apply those labels to oneself. And now I will note that this man chooses to do something that I do not, and that's acknowledge that if you're on the thing, saying the thing, wielding the power of the fourth wall, even just in audio, there are people that will do what you say, and here he takes advantage of that.
Shoutouts are in order. So what I would like everybody to do right now is to drop down this window and to scroll on over to a channel by the name Chad Pill, which you can find by searching in the query. And I would like you to subscribe to this young man's channel, because in my humble opinion, his channel is criminally underviewed, and he's managed to elucidate some insights which are pressing the frontier of this scene, which is, what do we even call it? The dark blue pill?
The dark blue pill. That's a clever one. I need a save versus nausea. No, that's in the self die, I think. Oh look, somebody's nice to me. Exactly right. Still participating. Yeah, I mean but this gentleman is interesting in the aspect that it seems to be perhaps it's like a pro WF Uncle Tomish bootlicking. We'll get there. Let's see.
Radically active centrism, if you prefer. Something to that effect. So go now. Give the man the subscription he deserves. Moving on. So the story begins with two young gentlemen. Let's call these gentlemen Michael and Daniel. Now,
Well,
Mike
we certainly can't call them Chet.
and Dan had a very similar life history. They both grew up in the same town, in the same part of town. They both occupied the same demographic and the same class. The families were not poor, nor were they wealthy. And like any child growing up in the modern day, in the modern age, they had some troubles. Let's say they are both the product of broken homes, two loving parents, but who are no longer together.
Let's stop for a moment on how broken homes have been normalized, and what cultists like about isolated individuals. Oh no, we'll just roll on.
The product of divorce. And they also have similar personality dispositions. Both are rather introverted, not to the point where they were completely unable to have any social interaction with their classmates or the other children of the neighborhood, but not natural extroverts.
Socially stunted due to the broken home nature of their family. I'm skipping forward some.
Every war, every conflict, men are disposable. And realizing that
Here we go. The inset of the philosophy, perhaps. Let's take a closer listen.
every civilization to play. And it's starting to look like they are not going to get an opportunity to play. And coming to this realization that some people are just born to lose. Life is not fair. Life was never fair to men. Men are the cannon fodder of every historical epoch, every war, every conflict. Men are disposable. And realizing that they themselves have been made disposable by society, they've been called toxic, creepy, weird.
All right. Let's get to some of this there. This is first the okay, realization is an interesting phrase because it does, in that, like, when you take one on as a realization, it becomes your frame and through which you view and interact with reality. But to use the phrase realization implies that it's an objective reality one is perceiving and correctly interpreting, and I don't think that's the case in this instance. However, it gets into this what I feel is an undercurrent in this story and or movement in the wave of that part of the ocean over there is how the worship of the Darwinistic evolution, right? Like that we've replaced evolutionary theory with how divine creation, essentially, and therefore one's best move is to adapt themselves along the most effective evolutionary strategy. And for some reason, I have this in my note cards, which is the Eddings Bulgariad crystal insects. Now, Eddings is an author who wrote the Bulgariad, and apparently, like, though I've only skimmed it briefly, he was involved in some severe child abuse, not to be confused with child molestation. Well, you can, but I think it was more abusive than molestive. But he was a dirty, dirty bad man, so it's not good to read his books, I guess. But the Bulgariad's fucking awesome, and like the way he lays out the archetypes is beautifully. But he did this other series that involves the word crystal in it, and in that series, the protagonists end up facing a force that is basically the horde, zerglings, that sort of thing, with that keeps employing different evolutionary strategies against its opponents. And just note the evolutionary hootenanny and undercurrent of what you're hearing, I guess, is the point.
Vilified. They reach two very different conclusions about how to proceed forward, given their circumstance, given their futility. Mike, on the one hand, he begins to kind of turn inward. Maybe he reads some philosophy books. He goes to the bookstore one day and he picks up Seneca. He starts to read about Stoicism. And he likes music, heavy metal music to be exact. And he attends concerts every now and then. And he finds satisfaction in that, despite his overall demeanor being that of a pessimist. He's a very passive incel. And Dan, on the other hand, he begins to stew in this resentment upon realizing that he is unwanted by the greater whole of society. And he develops this mindset that if he can't have it, nobody will. And so in his resentment and his spite and in his hostility toward the society which excluded him, he decides that he's going to undermine. He's going to make it so that nobody can enjoy anything. And he begins to treat girls badly. He begins to go up to them and act in an appalling way.
Now, first off, this way he mentions this way, this active, he does a nice definition of passive and active incel, and then the way he defines an active incel is the kind of douchebag that in the good old days we would take behind the bushes and beat the tar out of. And so this part of the tale of the two incels reminded me of what we've lost in the fire. And that's as we come under total surveillance and litigation, the way that men used to be able to deal with each other and resolve character disputes among a society is no longer exercised as an option out of fear of litigation, I suspect, mainly. But there might be other motives. There might be. Yes, there is that aspect. We'll get into that, David. We'll get into that. But first, some more.
In an offensive way, in order to intimidate them, because they never gave him a chance. Even to treat those women. Now, what is the difference that causes Mike and Dan, despite...
What a serendipitous timestamp jump, Grim. I know, but you know what we haven't had in a minute?
I'm gonna have a look at you.
Don't worry, Mom. I know all about cannibalism. I saw it on TV.
See? It's okay. We saw it on the television.
Oh no, we got Josh Garrison in the hive mind with a big old fancy question. The in of incel means involuntary. What part of rumination is involuntary? Well, if you're busy helping others, you can't ruminate on yourself. Tobey Maguire Spider. Okay. Well, Dismal, David Walker thinks you sound like Spider-Man. Oh, okay. Oh, but we're jumping to this part. Here he goes into differentiating. Now, remember the evolutionary undercurrent, and also remember that the guy who made that what do you call it? The Pocahontas movie with the blue people, the Avatar series, the Titanic son of a bitch, that he has come out directly against testosterone. Like it should be chemically removed from the species.
Having an identical upbringing and finding themselves as a result in an identical situation, for them to reach such vastly different conclusions and behave with such a vastly different conduct. I would hazard a guess that the difference between Mike and Dan is their sex drive and libido. Now, the way our biology works is that there is a finite amount of energy at the disposal of an individual.
What an anti-anthropic view he's taking on this. But what Marty says, the whole incel movement was started by a woman named Alana, who was pissed about her dating life or lack thereof. Yes, David Walker, that's correct. I was referencing James Cameron, the Titanic tank, the testosterone people. Neutrino says the whole incel thing just seems like the precise inverse of slut shaming, almost as if it was reverse engineered. Oh well, you can go agree with him over there. We're doing a but now I think I brought up the Eddings thing and the evolutionary strategies thing because what I think is missing from this demographics perception, this whatever demographic he's aiming at, this whole the men are the victims always have been society, is that an understanding of the natural order of things with regards to human eugenics. Now, over my time of consuming vast amounts of cannabis and interpreting the results of the indigo stolen cousins from thereof, I have come to the realization that the human breeding goes naturally like we take all the men, we throw them at the thing we're trying to fix, and like those that are left over get to breed with the ladies. But and the thing that we've lost in our society is that the ladies used to have this thing called the shadow matriarchy, which is influence over each other. As the families were nuked and isolated into nuclear units and then into broken homes, what was lost was the network of female knowledge and real-time processing that happens within these shadow matriarchy groups, which prevent the lady folk from choosing poor males as breeding partners, except for the isolated and broken ladies, which used to become strippers and now is everybody. So there's a realization about the natural role of womanhood and human eugenics that seems to be lacking from the perspective this demographic doesn't have any grokking of it as far as I can tell. And that's why I wanted to bring up the Eddings shit, I think.
And the expenditure of said energy must be allotted or allocated toward certain functions of the body at the expense of others. Now, we know through our K selection, differential K theory, that
speaking of differential K theory, have you ever been in a K-hole? I'm looking for testimonies from K-hole people because I don't want to mess with ketamine.
Now, what'll that asshole think of next? Is anybody got a dime?
Is everything all right in here?
Yes, Nanny.
Certain individuals and certain groups have a predilection toward a reproductive strategy which is very fast. It prioritizes quantity over quality, reproduction at all costs, diversity of reproduction and very low investment in the offspring, if any at all. And so individuals who have been handed.
All right. So there's the gist of it. And yes, Walker, like there's a rational basis to a lot of things. Josh says they seem to identify too much with their LARP. It's only a bad thing to identify too much with your LARP if you have a bad LARP. Yes, the pump and dump strategy, brah. Chad has never been in a K-hole, but did a bunch of that fake weed nonsense, which is the worst and targets our military in a strange sort of way. What did I want to get to with this guy? Oh, yes. Now, as you know, through our work for the extracting anything valuable from what Vervaeke says, is that there's a tulpa salience landscaper in your head that points out things and makes them shiny to you. And this dismal fellow is shiny to the extent that, by God, is that a glow? And where the by God is that a glow part comes in is in these calls towards violence and the inaction of selection he does at the end of the videos. I don't know how much I'm going to play of that. Let's see. I think it's about here.
Chemical lich for them that they had not been able to experience in a very long time due to the dulling effect of a complete and utter lack of impulse control.
I think he goes good into the dopamine cycle and a lot of stuff in there. It's not all hate speech. What? Lunch. Watch a video on how. Do I have to play a video on how fake weed is made? I can't believe that. So like, there's my commentary on it. Let's see if there's any ramifications. But while we float along and navel gaze a little bit and maintain our post standards by following what the guy who wrongly holds the keck hat does. Hold on. I gotta, what? Here, just run this.
You're crushing me, people. You're crushing me. I'm big, but I'm not that big.
You're huge. And Chad says that K2 stuff nearly broke me for good. Acetone is bad for you. Yeah. Now, you know those guys who do that vaping? The vaping? The vaping involves propylene glycol, which has been approved by your friendly FDA. But that it's been approved for consumption in food, not pasted to your lungs. Be careful with that. Hey, Upcycle. Well, when you land that way, sir, it's always good to see you. Hello. I see the assassins have failed. Okay. So there's my dismal commentary. Oh, to deliver, sir. Yes. What? You must also discuss the paintball paladins and the army of the Hikikomori. Well, you see, I think the target demographic of the material presented in today's broadcast is also targeting what I consider the army of the Hikikomori, which is those the passive incels as described by this fellow, and those that have just found society doesn't deserve their best, but maybe some of those video game creators do. And those people, I think, if they are allowed to awaken to a realization that they were born into a culture war and fifth generational information tactics and whatnot, and that there are others like them playing. That's how the army of the Hikikomori rises, and members who are on that path can opt into the actual physicality of the paintball and become paladins with the Paintball for Jesus program. And therefore, I have delivered on the thumbnail.
Remember it. There is no agency. We walk
Now, that was only 18 seconds, and one day I will unleash it all. Keep making your savings throws. Thanks, everybody, Josh and Marty and Ups, and I'm trying. We're all in this together, and except those who aren't. But it's like all this broken family stuff. We have to have some kind of replacement for cousins, and why can't those be internet friends? I don't know. What?
Do you have anything you want to say in conclusion?
Yeah, where's the keck hat? If like this guy, I just have to tell people to do things, and it happens. Like with the subscription to Chad Pill, he recommended. Go check him out and let me know. What I have to say in conclusion is, where is the keck hat? Help me demand that we get to see the keck hat once again. The keck hat, as you may or may not know, is the symbolic crown Jordan Peterson put on himself with the endorsement of Pastor Peugeot. Pastor Peugeot? No. Proletariat? No. Werewolf? No. We got Marty with a hard question. What are the defining differences, similarities, and hope for incels, hikikomori, and MGTOW? Well, let me tell you. The defining differences. The differences is like, first, whether or not they're participating in identifying in the naming system of the dominant hierarchy of sexual commodification. You see, when I was a young child growing up, they were shaping us. We were still a human market labor force. But now that they no longer need us as a labor force, it's not what are you going to be when you grow up, but who's allowed to you when you grow up, because that's, we're running out of things that humans are actually worthwhile feeding to do. Pugilist. Has he been pugiling? See you, everybody. You shouldn't be looking for a girlfriend anyway. You're shopping for your heir. Like, what lady has the genes that make the nice hair? I don't know. That this whole the whole social programming has been inverted, and how it gets inverted is by subversion, and they subverted it through normalization, and they used set as a normalization factor because, like, you needed to have water cooler conversation to get by at work, and the easiest way to have water cooler conversation to get by at work was to see what everybody else was watching on set and watch the same shit. And that is how shit got normalized. Sorry. Hey, Lynn, it's those selfish boomers' fault. No. See, the boomers were what we have is a real problem. Is the intergenerational ratcheting of collective wisdom has been severed with the nuking of the family. I can't go into it today. It's too much. But tune in tomorrow. David Walker says, oh, look, sorry, that's offensive. See you next time, folks.